constant context. Let me just say, the show about... You there? The show about the show. About the show about the show. Okay, so real quick. Put on this service that clearly was a good service. You know, it had everything going for it. Can I get a medium Americano, please? No. Thanks. So they just didn't want to negotiate with Napster because they were really upset that a 19-year-old could figure out how to make money in the internet age. Sean Fanning did something that was consistent with what was being hinted at with Wired all the time. So that they sue it out of existence, that whole thing with everybody, you know, Alcoholica and fucking whoever else, the Turtles, the Monkeys, whatever they're called. Not the Monkeys, but the Turtles. And clearly they solved the problem of music being free on the internet. Okay, so in comes Steve Jobs, the hippie, who negotiates with the labels and says, look, it's going to be either free or at least, you know, $1. And it'll be on our wonderfully stylistically unified concept hardware device, the Diamond Rio player, which you might call iTunes. I've got to switch. Got to get another song here. No, it's another lecture. Music.
Must have been 300, and he simply circled the audience. And as he often did, he had no notes. He just meditated. And essentially, the concept was kind of multi-sensory, because sometimes you saw him even moving, sometimes you saw him, and sometimes you just heard him because he was behind you.
Bill, I think in the books that you've written about screenwriting, you've become famous for two adages. One of which is that nobody knows anything, and two adages. One of which is that nobody knows anything, and the other is that screenplays are structure.
Yeah, nobody knows anything. It's funny. It's caught on, and as I remember, what I meant by it was that nobody has the least idea what movie's going to work. I mean, the big movie that's opening this weekend is Sex and the City 2. And nobody has the first one was a freak hit, and people loved it. And now they've done the sequel. And sequels are horror movies, as I've written. The only reason you do a sequel is to make money. And nobody has the least idea, is it going to be a phenomenal success, or is it going to take?
Hit series Sabotage. Actors who are real-life undercover cops and actors who bring their stories of real-life crime to TV.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
How you doing, ladies?
So, how did you ever make the transition from undercover cop to a television superstar sensation?
Well, for me personally, I had
Hey, I'm Nicki Minaj, Nicki Lewinsky, Nicki the Ninja, Nicki the Boss, Nicki the Howard At this point, like, hello, it's me. I win, and you lose. Oh, shit. Yo, I'm a bad chick.
And essentially what you heard was him meditate. I asked him afterwards about it. And he said that it was kind of technique he practiced.
Jesus.
I think we should probably make this the cover feature. It's pretty, you know.
Christ. Okay. So Steve Jobs, you know, he convinces all the labels, you know, $1, 99 cents, or $1, 70 for you, 30 for me. 3 years later, the entire music industry is making no more money, and everyone's blaming Steve Jobs, and everyone's got iPods and iPhones. Well, not iPhones yet, but they got all different kinds of iPods, and they're using iTunes. And Steve Jobs, you know, at first he didn't even. I'm basically summarizing an episode I already did, the download thing. Why did they even listen to him? Probably because he invested in Pixar in 1986. That's probably why he had the audience, whereas Napster couldn't get the audience. They wouldn't negotiate with Napster, but they would negotiate with Steve Jobs, who basically just nailed the coffin. We all know this. Okay, so as a result of finding all this shit out, I recognized streaming. What's the deal with streaming? I don't have Spotify, I'm in Canada. And then you have David C. Lowery, and you have Damien Krukowski, and you got this great book by this guy named Steve Knopper, or something like that, called Appetite for Self-Destruction. And all this shit points to the fact that basically David Lowery says, you know, they get 0.6 of a cent. Hey, how's it going? Thank you. No, second. So streaming music, I don't know, I think Cracker had a song called I'm High or something, or Damien Krukowski had a song called Tugboat, and I think Galaxy 500, the band that Kukowski's in, the song's talking about, they got paid 21 cents for something like, I don't know, 5,000 or 7,000 plays. Cracker song got played like a million times, and they got like $1,000. So, the modems that are going to appear in cars, what Beats will do is what Apple did for the MP3 players. I don't give a shit who they bought the technology from. And what iTunes did, what Napster couldn't do, Beats under Apple will do what Spotify hasn't managed to do because Spotify's got the stigma of Napster chasing it, clearly. That's the only explanation. Because you're going to see, everyone's going to renegotiate. Spotify just gave away 80% to make to the fucking road. If they can improve the royalty rate and turn Beats into essentially the Netflix of music and radio and curation and all these things that are like, look, you can go and load up your fucking music lockers and I'm using a USB port right now and all this stuff, but it's like, I'm at McDonald's getting a coffee. I could brew the coffee when I get home, but I want to fucking just get it now so I can talk to you. None of you. Well, no, tell me production. Say it. Thank you. K-Tel. So I appreciate it. So that Beats becomes streaming $7.99. They have a few price point scale and that's the world makes better. And they see loud and all of a sudden not other light blue.
Listen, stop it. You're all fucking idiots. Stop it. God save the preacher man, he tells it like it is. Yeah.
So he's the medium that's the middle.
Okay? You just
So, these are methods to the white gospel piece will enable artists to get their royalty. In a separate sort of story voices. In some story, should be our voice. That goes basically, these Californians rap about losing the
home with a bird who's been hitting on you like some kind of industrial hammer. Stroking the tits, tending the garden, giving the taxi driver a hard on. Now back home, fingers roam, reggae on the decks and you're feeling the boat. Trespass says,
let's go play blackjack in between horses. It's like, I don't gamble. Like, you have money? I'm like, you're gambling now. Come on. We go to the high roller stakes. We lose like 2 or 3 grand each. Come back. His wife's like, what's going on? We're losing money.
There you go.
It was classic.
I did not have it.
Fucking on the way down. George Bush says back in the mush. You're the President Evil, the Resident Weasel, the Axis of Diesel. Fuck Enron, fuck Enron, fuck Enron, 'cause it's fucking wrong. Trash. Peace and fucking.
The heads tonight. Teenage boy roasts himself in sacrifice to Chris Kelly. Heseltine fading fast. And headmaster suspended for using big-faced child as satellite dish. This is the news. This is the news. Coming up. Why can't I be king, bleats Patton?
What is unreasonable about that proposal?
And Mad Lord says it's not too late for Freddie Mercury.
I'd recommend she went to her local benefits agency office, sought advice there, and I'm sure she'd find, as likely as not, by getting hold of family credit, she might find herself considerably better off.
News. London Transport say they may have to close the underground.
I would have had more, but I was full of
Well, this is it. Exactly.
Yeah.
The way they are crushed inside those lorries.
The vets hit them with planks.
Vets.
Exactly.
They're so huge, they're an
Listen, boo-hoo about calves. They do that with crabs. I don't see you weeping about crabs. Well, I think every animal has as much right to decent treatment as we do.
Yeah,
You're wrong, and you're a grotesquely ugly freak. Thanks. Animal rights. It's an extremely controversial subject, and it's not just the odd dinner party punch-up over squealing meat.